Hey guys, let's go ahead and get started. We're going to do our solo RPG stream today. We are trying to dive into the heart of the chaos miasma that's around Rhymefire's lair. So we're going to jump in and do that. First, let's talk about sort of what happened in the last session. Just a moment. There we go. So, what happened last time? So, we traveled to Rhymefire's lair from Split Valley Oasis, or kind of just finished that trip, because we were very close already. We sort of called out, didn't seem like he was home, didn't respond or anything. We were about to sort of go in and check in and see sort of what was going on, but then we passed a knowledge check and we were like, Rhymefire technically has at least one kobold serving him now, and kobolds are pretty notorious for laying traps, so maybe we shouldn't just blunder into that lair, because it's likely that we're going to probably hit one or more traps. So we're like, alright, well maybe we should hang out. Rhymefire's probably out hunting, because it was during the day. So we sort of searched the area for the corruption that we kind of knew was already in the area. This is the people who have been poisoned back at Split Valley Oasis. And so we kind of took a look around, trying to investigate sort of what's going on. So we determined it was sort of the corruption part of it is airborne in nature. It's visible. It's like a choking mist that kind of is. So it's got that classic sort of what we think about as sort of purple poison cloud kind of feel that we see in things like video games and stuff like that. So that very sort of like iconic kind of classics smell. We also saw those sort of weird plant growth and things like that, as we see sort of the corruptions in that, and we see a sort of a burst of new life, but in a sort of mutated kind of form. As we know that's sort of one of the things that this miasma kind of does, and chaos in general has this tendency to sort of mutate and change and do sorts of weird things to the sort of creatures and vegetables, minerals, everything that gets sort of soaks in that sort of chaos energy. It tends to change them. So we have to be very careful when we're going in and looking through that stuff, because we also don't want to come out with one or more extra arms or eyes, or turning into a sludge or ooze. I'm not really wanting to turn this into a Gamma World game, so we're not going to go too far with that, but I do have the last edition of Gamma World around here. I might have to pull that out if we get into it and figure out, maybe what some mutations look like. So we could always go and grab that, and then we'll have to find out whether those mutations can be, amended or not. But that's a lot of hypothetical maybes for future me to have to deal with. So let's stick on the path for right now and just cross our fingers and do our best to make sure that doesn't happen to our characters, hopefully. So we did that. We know that was likely coming from a nearby hazardous area, the miasma. We did find a sachet with sort of cleansing herbs that was meant to protect against the miasma, sort of like held around your face and sort of here, so some sort of like healing protective herbs and things of that nature. It's kind of in there. So we found that on the ground. So we know that people have been in here, or at least one person's been in there. So we headed back to the lair, and after we spent some time, because we didn't want to hang out in there too long, because we know it's sort of like it's a little bit like radiation. Like in small doses it's kind of okay, but you don't want to have large doses over an extended period of time, or your cells start to break down and it's not good stuff, and thus the mutations and all that fun stuff. So we headed back to the lair. Rhymefire was there. We spoke with the kobold, spoke with Rhymefire. We did find that the kobold had been affected by the miasma, and we can tell that because it gives off a pretty bad odor, and there were sort of pustules on the back of sort of one of their scaled hands and arms. So we know that sort of comes up. So we did know, Jurgen did attempt to heal the kobold, the dragon's, dragon shield? Scale shield? Whichever one they're called. Is his technical stat block. And though we did give him a name. I'll look it up in just a second. So She did use Cure Wounds. We did find out that that was successful. So it does seem with these light sort of cases of chaos infliction, it doesn't even require something as powerful as even a lesser restoration, which is good because we don't have access to that. Yeah, we don't have access to it. Or we just got access. No, she doesn't. She doesn't yet. So she's not quite at the level at which she could cast it, even if she had it. So we did find out that some Cure Wounds will help as long as the affliction is extremely light. We think. We think if you go further in and you are more afflicted, yeah, we're probably not going to be able to help you. We might have to run back to Split Valley Oasis. We're going to have to go to Carjunton for somebody sort of like more skilled. We might be able to find one in Split Valley Oasis. We might be able to find a healer in Split Valley Oasis who can deal with it. Or perhaps Delg can. But Delg's not with us. We left Delg behind because we took Omer with us. Because we wanted somebody who had a better connection with Rhymefire and had a little bit more knowledge, like Leah, in that sort of primordial, draconic background from their sort of academic days, being researchers together. So that is where we are with that. We did kind of discuss with Rhymefire. We did see that Rhymefire is going through what can kind of be associated to sort of his adolescence or sort of teenage years now, as he's a wormling that's sort of growing in power. He has his first subject. He has a very small pile of gold that he's sort of accruing. And we did see a lot of that sort of pride swelling up. He's sort of getting that sort of pride and arrogance that dragons are known for, that he didn't really have before. So we did get sort of... So we wanted to help Rhymefire, but Rhymefire couldn't, due to his pride, couldn't accept sort of like aid help, from, even though we are friendly with Rhymefire. So we did have to get sort of hired by Rhymefire for a paltry sum of money. 10 gold a day for 6 days, and we get a 50% split of the treasure that we're going to share with Rhymefire, but we have first option on any of the items. So that was it. The Kobold Dragon Shield, who I'm just going to look up the name up real quick, because I know we gave him a name last time because we were like, we need to give that guy a name. We can't just keep calling him Kobold. Veer. Veer is his name. So Veer helped us make some more of the sort of herb sachets and wraps, so we can sort of like wrap them in sort of like a jerry-rigged sort of gas mask, I guess is the best way to say it, and some sort of face covering that helps with these cleansing herbs, that helps sort of reduce the chance, or reduces the sort of like incoming chaotic energy from us like breathing it in as much. Like, we'll still get affected by it, but we do get some sort of advantage against those rolls of having to deal with the effects of the chaos. It means we can be in the miasma for a little bit longer, and we're a little bit safer when we do that. Let me see what else we have down here. Yeah, we do have to contend against that scaling con DC. That's what I was talking about. Against the affliction. It works very similar to sort of the exhaustion, like effort that we do when we're doing the overland travel. So now we have basically 2 of those sort of counters running on us for different things. So we do have sort of an effort threshold that we're sort of doing a sort of combined. If you don't know the effort framework, I have a video on that. Go check it out. It's like running a skill challenge, but it's a little bit different, where it's more like your additions rather than additions to a grand total. You know what? Just go watch the video. It's like a skill challenge. That's all you really need to know. It'll become apparent how it works very soon when we do it, if you haven't seen it. So we need to find the source of miasma. We have 6 days. We need to, for our contract anyways, we need to reach basically 70 levels of sort of investigation on it. We're on day 3 of 6, and we are over halfway there. So we're actually doing really, really well. we returned to Rhinefire's lair. We got the exhaustion 1, right? So we're about to go back in because we spent all that time out there. We went to sleep. A small group of tigers found their way into the cave. Thrashed Jurgen pretty badly while she was asleep. But Imbar almost single-handedly cleared the encounter with 2 big critical hits and dealing a whole bunch of damage to tigers. And we got through that. But we have finished that long rest, and that is sort of where we are now. So it's the new day. We've got our progress on the Miasma. Let me make sure that's in our notes. I believe it is. Let me double check. Yes. So we have woken up. It is Summer Maiden 23. That is approximately May 28th. So the day is... weather is cool. It's calm. And there's a bit of fog here. Which is nice. It's a nice change. Weather's been pretty hot recently. So having a nice cool day will be a nice change of pace. So that is sort of where we are. So let's go... oh. And I had read on the sheet Veer's name. I will go ahead and swap it over so you guys can take a look at kind of what I'm looking at. Let's go ahead and do that. There we go. It's all the way. Well, here's what we got. We can go ahead and delete this. I've already got Veer's name. So yeah, what are our goals sort of for the session? What are we working on? We're trying to discover and stop that source of chaos, Miasma. Our mule is in Split Valley Oasis. We don't need to worry about that. That's just a note for me. And we need to put Omer on deciphering Gimble's page. So we have this coded message that we found on Gimble's dead body after we killed him. But we don't know what it says, and Omer is our code breaker, but he needs downtime to do that. So this is a when we get back to, I guess, the Liaden estate. I guess that's where we'll be returning to. That's where everybody's been at. Though we question that now because we've had some people skulking around there. So that are ne'er-do-wells who we think were trying to get us to leave the Liaden estate, so we would be more vulnerable to them. So it's kind of a, you know what? That's a future plot thread for us to kind of mess with. So let's stay on track. All right, let's hop over. That's it. That's really all we need to know. We're going right back into exploration. So we're going to need this page. And we're going to add a... I don't remember... I don't think we have a certain total for that, do we? Let me double check. Because I don't believe we made one thus far. It does not appear so. So we're, in addition to this right here, I told you that we also need to do a... So basically I'm just going to set 2 thresholds. So this is going to be the exhaustion threshold. And that's going to be new today. We need to re-roll that. And I'm going to take this. Boop. And then we also need our... we'll just say Miasma threshold. That'll be easy. Miasma threshold. And those will be 2 different numbers. So we're going to do 2 different con saves. And we're not going to have advantage on either one of these, but we are going to have... no, I guess I'll give us advantage on the Miasma threshold, but not the Constitution one. Because we don't have a mule or anything that's helping us carry our gear. We're moving through the jungle. It's hard work, so... So, as always, we're going to use Leah's. Leah has a +2 to Constitution saving throws. She is unfortunately not trained in it. That would be useful. And let's do our first rolls of the game. We got 2 of them. So the first one for our Constitution threshold for walking around. Ooh, very good. Dirty 20. So we should be able to get moving. Now for our Miasma threshold. Now we have advantage on this one. Only 14. Not great. So we do know that we're going to start getting those pustules and stuff on that if we get past that 14 and we start failing things. And I don't know. We'll have to figure out what that level will look like. So we'll say, miasma level. Let's say, yeah, we'll just leave it there. I kind of wanted a different name for it, but I don't know what that would be right off the top of my head. So let's go ahead and move back. All right, so we have a little bit of work to do. We still got to get there first. So we are down here, if you can see, right here. This is Rhinefire's lair. That's where we are. Let's go ahead and let's make a little edit. That way we can get our stuff down at the bottom. All right, so this is Rhinefire's lair. That's where we are. It's the abandoned water shrine that we converted. And it also has Veer in it. And we do know that the Chaos Miasma is in this area. Oh, I put the thing down here, the threshold DC. That's fine. Yeah, let's do it that way. So let's figure out... Alright, so I'm going to change my mind here. So instead of doing it this way, because that is the way we did it last time. I couldn't remember how we did it last time. So for the Miasma DC, we'll just have the Miasma DC. We'll just roll a DC for it, and then we'll have advantage on the saves against it, because it really does determine for each character, so we need to track that. That is why I set it up that way. Okay, so the DC is 16, which is a very high DC. Now we do get advantage for the face coverings. But it does make it seem like we're probably not going to be able to stay in here very long before people start feeling real sick. Yeah. That is unfortunate. So we do feel... Alright, so I guess we're gonna make the trek. So we got up in the morning. We don't really need to say too much to either Rhymefire or Veer. Thank you. We're gonna go explore and see if we can determine where the central area is. And maybe we'll get this done today. Maybe not, though. We'll have to see. We rolled such a high DC there for our miasmas that people are gonna get kind of sick pretty quick, probably. Maybe in the first time we go in there. So we're gonna take our move. We gotta cross our land, so from Rhinefire's lair to here. So to do that, we've gotta spend a little bit of energy, the minimum possible. Alright, so we're tromping back over ground that we've already done a good job of sort of clearing the jungle up a path from Rhinefire's lair to where we're trying to get to. So we've done that journey a few times, so we've got a more carved out path to follow. So our speed is picking up. We're not having to 100% bushwhack our way through this place anymore, which makes sense. So we're getting in there, boom, and we see that there's that heat wave energy that starts to roil where everything gets a little blurry vision-wise, and we see that sort of rolling purplish kind of mist that kind of floats in between the trees, and we can see some animals and things like that, and we see a lot of plants, and especially the plants we can see already have some weird twisting and mutation to them, some sort of fungal growths and things like that that are on them that are what we would consider probably not particularly natural, pretty unnatural looking. Though nature is very weird already. So we've made our way into the miasma. Well, we're here, so time for us to start looking around for that center of what we're looking for. Trying to find that central source. So right now we're at 42 of 70. Now we've got a few different ways we could do this. We could kind of use our Arcana. We can kind of help to try to fix in and try to determine kind of the source. We could do something like Nature to try to follow things like the most afflicted, where we see the most mutations happening, and being able to be like, oh, well, that's not a natural plant that I know, or that's not that the animal doesn't look quite right, or has a different change of color of fur, or whatever it is. Do that. We could also do something like survival, because we're And that would be helpful using Ott, who's kind of using our exploration and kind of triangulating positions as we're sort of like closing in the box, trying to figure out where that central area is. So who do we want to use? We've used Ott quite a bit. So maybe it's time for somebody else. The problem is that no, Omer's trading Arcana. So yeah, I think we've triangulated things pretty well. So we've got sort of our box set up that we're trying to find the thing in. So now we're just kind of patrolling back and forth and trying to find the central source. So I think Arcana at this point makes the most sense. So I'm going to have Leah do that. We have Omer with her, who is also trained in Arcana, so he can kind of help her, even though he doesn't have practical magic. He can't do spells, but he is very much trained academically to understand it. So he can look at things and understand things and interpret data and things like that. And so that means that being trained, he can help. He can use the help action for Leah, who is also trained in Arcana, so she can get advantage on that roll. And then I think Jurgen, because now we finally have somebody in the party who can cast Guidance, will also cast Guidance. And as anybody with Guidance knows in D&D 5e, even though it's a little bit different in 2024 now, is that if at all possible, you should always be trying to throw Guidance on somebody. You should kind of be spamming it like crazy, because there's no reason not to be, basically. It's a free spell. You use it all the time. So we will go ahead and use that. And it's effort, so we don't have a DC for this. We're trying to build up to that 70. So we're in there. This is our first attempt. That's pretty good. So that's right off the bat a dirty 20 plus her bonuses, which is 20 plus 6. So she gets a 26 studying this. So I assume that she uses sort of pulls out her living spell book with Harold's Soul in it, and kind of uses that and talks back and forth with it. Kind of has her, right? She has her special quill that she uses in it because she's a scribe wizard. Do that. So she's having a discussion with Harold. She's talking with Omer. They're going over the data. They're looking at things. They're making notes, and they feel like they're getting a lot of progress. So that was a 26, which puts us at 68. So we are right there. Now, I have it down here a scaling con save for. Maybe I was setting the DC differently. No, this is what happens when you take a little break in between doing it, and you're sick, and then you're trying to realize, how was I doing that? Maybe I was just doing a D4. Maybe I flip in and was doing a D4. That would make more sense. That the longer we're in it, the more difficult it becomes. But I still need to make a check for every character. So yeah, I guess. But then that's not really any different. I mean, I guess I can just roll it differently. Or it's always against the Constitution progression. That's fine. We'll do that. So basically, I need to make some con saves. They have advantage on them. So I'm going to change all that wording that I just did. But the con save is equal to the Constitution progression that we've had. So right now it's 1, so almost impossible to fail. So we are going to get this done, which is good. So I basically have to roll everybody 2 dice and really only care if I get a natural 1, I think. I don't think nobody's got a negative to their Constitution. But not everybody has positive either. So it really only matters if I roll kind of a natural 1 on these saves. Alright, let's go down the line. So I need to roll 2 natural 1s for it to make any difference. So for Leah, nope. Terrible rolls, but fine. Imbar's fine. Odd is, of course, fine. Omer's doing great. And Jurgen is doing fantastic. She's filled with the Holy Spirit and holy magics to protect her. So perfect. I mean, that worked out amazing. Could not have probably worked out any better. But I need to change... Okay, I didn't put the DC. There, alright. That's fine. So I don't really need that. Perfect. Alright, that did, however, take some time. So, because we took some time, we do have to see... Did anything, so we do take a little bit more. As we get in there... And we forgot to do it while we were moving, so let's go ahead and see. And we need to do it again, just to see if we have any random encounters show up. We don't. And we don't need to look for a point of interest, because the Miasma is our point of interest. So that is fine. So things have go extremely well today, so far. So that's that. Maybe we try a nature check, just to make sure that we kind of hit all our different skills. I don't think we have necessarily anybody who's trained in nature's thing. We do not. Jurgen might be our best bet. She has pretty good wisdom. Sorry, nature's technically intelligence. That's an additional difference from D&D that I don't know. I just cannot seem to get out of my head. So we need intelligence, which is probably going to be Leah. Oh, so technically had a -1. She did fine on her save though. So Leah, of course, has a +3. Nobody can really help her with this. But at this point, she literally can't fail it. Unless, of course, she rolls a natural 1. I won't let her pass if she rolls a natural 1. But I mean, she only needs 2 to get there. But she's got 3 from her intelligence. She's going to have the guidance on her, so she's going to get at least 4, plus whatever she rolls. Unless she rolls a 1. Does she roll a 1? She's not. She rolls really well. How well does she roll? It is pretty well. 19 plus her intelligence, so 3, so 22. So we shoot right past that DC. Go ahead and put it up here. We did 22, so that makes us at 90, actually. Right over it. So we did that. Get through it. Everything's great. Let's see if in this last round, do we come across anything kind of come across us? Something is going to come across us. Now this is a 12. Something only happens on a 1 or a 12 on the D12. Remember. So on the 1, that's usually some sort of creature combat. On 12, that's usually some sort of wilderness dressing. Some sort of usually non-combat. Can be combat. Usually not a combat. Whereas the 1 sort of random encounter is usually a combat, but not always a combat. But something, we are going to run across something. But we also need to do our sort of con DCs first, so let's go ahead and get those out of the way. 1. Man, can't get any better than that. Let's get this riled up. So 5, we're doing gangbusters. We are making a lot of progress in what is still effectively the morning. And everybody needs to pass a DC 5 Constitution saving throw for the Miasma, which we all have advantage with because of the face wraps. So this should be easy. So we'll start off with Leah. The duality. But thank goodness that we have the advantage, because we get the natural 20. Leah feels fine. Leah's brain, she's gone into full sort of academic mode. Her brain's on fire, neurons firing, being like data and studying and putting the pieces together and unraveling the mystery and trying to figure out what's going on and solving this sort of puzzle or problem or obstacle. She's in full intellectual mode doing that. So she feels great. It's giving her all those brain chemical responses she loves. For Imbar, no problem. Also no problem. Omer's doing fine, and Jurgen. Not doing as fine, but still passed. Now, we're going through that, we're following this nature, we can feel that sort of heat effect increasing. The fog, that purplish mist is getting thicker and thicker. We see that the plant life around us is getting twisted and more. We're probably starting to see some animal life that's also strange and different. And when we say things are twisted by the chaos, they actually tend to, their mutation in generation goes a little bit more towards what we kind of consider to be Feywildish, where things are kind of have an explosive growth. So it's not just it's like tumors and changing colors and extra limbs and different colored eyes and all sorts of colorings change and move. They're bigger or smaller, or there's more of them, or all those extra weird things that sometimes fey creatures have. And might have weird magical effects on them, latent magical abilities that are just infused in them now. But we, however, are doing fine. But what did we find? So I'm going to drop in here for my wilderness tables real quick. We'll take a look. Let's move this. Alright, let me roll 2d20. I'm going to take these things and see if I can slam them together. So 7 and 9. So 7 is treed remains of a man, monster, something. So some sort of creature or creatures are in the bowels of these great sort of jungle trees that choke in around us. Oh no. You know what 9 is? It's a large insect nest. Question. Well, no, I don't need to ask that question. I was going to ask the question, is the hive on the ground or in the air? But we're trying to put these things together. So we see what seems like this giant, almost beehive wasp nest sort of constructed across these boughs of many trees. This sort of, that sort of disgusting sort of like daub that wasps use and bees use, that chewed up and spat out, building sort of natural daub material that they use to make nests. And you see that the sort of like framework, the bones of this are literal, in some cases, literal bones. I think there are pieces of animals and all sorts of monsters and creatures that are sticking out of sort of the daub thing that they've used as sort of like the skeletal framework to keep all the daub together. And that's what we're seeing. That's, well, horrifying. So I'm gonna give us a perception check and a stealth check, and I'm going to set a DC for us. And I don't think we're being particularly quiet, so I'm going to make the DC, I think I'm going to make the DC easier for perception because we're very alert, we're looking for things around us, we're looking for signs, so we're keyed in that ways. So I'm going to put a -3 on the DC for perception, but I'm going to put a +3 on the DC for stealth because I don't think, actually I'll just give us advantage versus disadvantage. That's fine. So what's the DC? All right, the DC is pretty low. It's only 11. So let's do our perceptions. There's that other nasty natural 1, but we do get the 18, so we're definitely going to see whatever's around if there's anything to see. What about our stealth check? So we have disadvantage on this. Most people, I should have chosen who would be, I guess we'll use Leah's stats, because she's sort of our main PC. And I know she has a positive dexterity modifier, so even with only rolling a 10 on the die, she is definitely going to hit that 11. So we don't think that we've been seeing But we do pick up and start to look around, and we see the nest, and we're immediately looking for creatures that, you know, live in that nest. So now it's sort of a question. Do we see any creatures, either in the nest or around it, that we think are related to the nest? Our stealth was pretty good, so I'm going to say a +3, so I think it's likely that we might accidentally stumble across them, because even though we weren't being super quiet, we weren't being particularly stealthy, we weren't making a lot of noise either. Other than the sort of like ambient noise of what's going on here, which makes sense, and also should clue me in that I should probably change the music to be a little bit more thematic for where we are. There we go, let's skip ahead a little bit. There's still a lot of animals around. So, do we see some sort of creatures? Do we see them make those nests? Got a +3. That's 10. That's a... No, we don't. But it is also an interrupt scene. So I think we're going to honor that interrupt scene because we're already stumbling across something that's kind of weird, which is already kind of a random encounter that we're stumbling across. So what is this? What is our interrupt scene going to be? Alright. Our interrupt scene. Alright, so we got to roll a few 20s here. Let's roll our first one. 13. Some sort of ordinary location. Okay, that could be the forest. Could be the jungle. 3. Bribe, buy, or recruit. Interesting. And 18. Some sort of trap or trick. What was the first thing we rolled again? Sorry. 13. Ordinary location. So ordinary location. Bribe, buy, or recruit. Trap or trick, ordinary. Interesting. So maybe what we're seeing here is that sort of these denizens, maybe of the nest, we're not really sure, have concocted or used something that was already, or creatures who were already in the jungle to set traps for people like us walking around. Maybe for game, might be like a tiger pit kind of thing. So, and maybe that's why nobody's really paying that much attention to us. But we didn't see anybody, even though we're close to the nest. I like that. I'm good with that. Let's what kind of creatures sound right for this jungly? Let's go with the native environments. We'll just use that. Forest, because I think there's a jungle one, right? No? I thought there's a jungle. It's just forest? Okay, we'll use forest, I guess. I just thought there was a jungle one. And yeah, I guess planar's the best thing to say. Alright, let's see what the... Just to try to... Not necessarily this is going to be a combat encounter, but try to figure out the creatures that are involved here. I kind of always want to make this hard. The awakened tree's pretty cool. That makes sense to me. I think the awakened tree is kind of the trap. Now, anytime that I see large nests of creatures in trees, it kind of boils it down to just being a few different kinds of enemies for me. Now, we don't know who that's going to be right offhand, but I do like the awakened trees. Like, that's the trap. It's that suddenly these trees are going to walk down and try to... I think they're going to try to snare trap us, where they're just kind of like grab us by the ankle and lift us up upside down. Like, that's the trap. These trees have been mutated by the mist. They've been somewhat awakened. Like, they kind of have some basic intelligence. Probably not a full awakened tree, like where they have humanoid intelligence. But they've got more like a... more like a sort of Venus flytrap kind of intelligence to them, or maybe a little bit more than that, like a fungal network kind of thing. Which, I mean, root networks kind of already work like that. So that a little bit more advanced than that, and giving them the ability to have more mobility to be able to do things. So they've got a little bit more rubbery limbs. It's very Whomping Willow adjacent, I feel like. I think that's what we're going to jump in with. So how many of these guys would make up a... Though I do kind of want to use an owlbear. Don't get to use them very often. This would be a perfect place for them. You need a weird cross-mutated animal. An owlbear fits that perfectly. Alright, so up to 6. So, what's like the minimum here that we can have? So kind of 2. So let's say 1d4 plus 2. That sounds fair to me. 1d4 or 2d3? Let's do 2d3. Why not? 1. Okay. And 3. Okay, so there are 4. There are 4 awakened trees here. So somebody's going to get snapped up. Now, I guess we should go with whoever was in the lead, which is probably going to be... Well, it's going to be Leah. Because she was the one making the active checks. And then I guess Jurgen was giving her guidance. Because these are the people that I think are going to get hit first. Omer was also up there talking. I think Inbar for sure doesn't really have a lot to add to what's going on. Kind of the exploration aspect. So she's probably all the way in the back. And I think Ott, having done most of the survival stuff already, is also in the back. So I think that gives us our 4 that are going to get attacked. So let's get some... Let me get the stats for Awakened Tree real quick. Awakened Tree. Well. Okay. Fine. Come on, what's that? Awakened Tree. There we go. So they have like a slam attack. That's really all they do. They're not... They don't got a whole lot going on for them. They're a tree. Though this tree is wildly charismatic for a tree, which is not a lot, but still kind of in human range, which is weird. But can't talk, I don't think, right? Oh, no, knows one language. And it's not just knows it, and doesn't say does not speak. Alright, so there's 4. They got +6 to hit. I'm going to give them advantage because they do have the false appearance trait. When they remain motionless, they are indistinguishable from a normal tree. So even though we rolled well on our perception, we didn't see any things because they weren't moving and they look like, you know, they're indistinguishable from trees. That's the whole thing. And then those sort of like jungle vines wrap down and they're going to try to like grab us by the ankles and rip us up. So +6, we're going to get advantage on it. So first against Leah. That's certainly going to hit Leah. What about Imbar? No, sorry, not Imbar. Omer. I guess one of them's going to get... I guess technically that would go against Ott. Because only one person's going to stay out. And that is going to be... Yeah, the only person who's going to be out of that range will be Imbar. So Ott, because we have 4 of them. And we have 5 characters. Ott's going to get hit. Omer. Omer might get missed. They hit a 12. That is exactly Omer's armor class. Ugh, that close. Alright, and for Jurgen. Dang, I thought we were going to probably get them all. Does Jurgen have a 12? Jurgen does not have a 12. I would assume that Jurgen has her shield out. There's no reason she wouldn't. I don't feel like. Because they are walking around in a what they think to be a dangerous place. So Jurgen doesn't get hit, but blap, 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 Imbar. I keep saying Imbar. Imbar's the one person that wasn't targeted. Leah, Ott, Omer, vines swoop around their legs and whoop, flip them up into the trees, and they're immediately upside down. Well, I guess that will be... Well, no, we're not going to technically go... You know what? I am going to roll initiative, because I do feel like it's a trap. Somebody would show up to check the trap. We're right next to the nest. I feel like them hearing the trees move around would key them in to checking out what the trees have caught. So I think I am just going to go straight into combat. So I wasn't planning for this to be a combat, but that's just kind of how the dice go sometimes when we're doing this. So let's go to our combat director. We don't know what our CDC is going to be yet. So, a few people up here. We've got Leah. And she is snared. Omer is snared. Ott is snared. Jurgen is not snared. And I'll go ahead and put the awakened trees in here. I'm going to put them in here as sort of... They're going to be like a little layer action here, because I don't really want them to be the antagonists. Because that really wasn't what we were kind of going for. Because these aren't quite the stat blocks. New trees, there's 4. They have a plus 2 snare. And they just grab them and pull people up into the air. So they're not going to be the antagonists here. Which means we're going to need some antagonists. Let's just ask the Oracle. Well, I'll roll initiative, and then I'll roll an initiative for just like when something's going to show up. I do this sometimes. We'll let them go first. They roll a 3. Bad stuff. That's usually when I just do that when I don't know what the bad guys are going to be, or I don't want the players to know what the bad guys are. Hey, on this initiative, bad stuff happens. Don't worry about it. So, perfect. Okay. Excuse me. So, Imbar. Alright, Imbar's got a 9. Delightful. And we went with Omer, who's going to be the natural 1, and we know he will be way down here. He's going to be after bad stuff. So, not doing very well so far. Have Leah not. Okay, Leah did well. Leah's got 19. Ott has a plus 3, I believe. And for Jurgen. For some initiative. Delightful. I don't think she has a bonus to initiative to Dex. She does not. Alright, so we are, we rolled real well. Alright, so we can go ahead and get these kind of situated. Alright, so these tree vines come down, they wrap around a few of our friends and pull them up into the air, and they go, ah! They get pulled up. Imbar is there. They're pulled up into the air, so she can't really reach them. I think she looks for a way to cut them down, which is going to require probably climbing up into the tree, which she should be fairly capable of doing. Plus 2, I guess. Because she doesn't really have anything that's going to be able to cut like one of those thick jungle vines from the ground. So yeah, she will sling her shield on her back and attempt to climb. Let's set a DC for the scene. Oh, very nice. So that's 2 and 1, which makes it a 5 base plus 2, 7. So a DC 7. Stuff's gonna be real easy to do here. So that's a good chance of just getting up there. She's a roll of 5. That, however, is well, that's 1. That's no bueno. All right, question: does she make it up high enough to hurt herself when she falls out of the tree? No. Okay. So she starts climbing up, and as she does, the trunk kind of twists, and when the ballast comes down, it just kind of smacks her, and she kind of scrambles and slides kind of down the trunk and falls down on the ground. But she was only a few feet off the ground when that happened, so she doesn't take any falling damage. That's kind of... I guess she could use her action to try again, so I think she'll do that. Alright, this time she's gonna pass. Alright, so she is up in the tree, but now she no longer has an action to actually get to one of them. Alright. We'll just put her through. She's climbing the tree. Leah. Leah is snared. Leah can try to cut herself out, maybe. What is she gonna do? She could, I mean, she could try to hit it with fire, which we're pretty sure, you know, trees don't like fire. I think that's... I know that... I looked at the stat block. I know they're vulnerable to fire, but it makes sense that a tree just in... People would be like, oh, well, fire works pretty good on wood. And I'm right here. So yeah, I think she will do that. So I think she has... she has Firebolt. She's right here. She's going to have advantage on that attack. There's no place for this thing to run. So I'm just going to give her an attack, and we'll see, let me see what the stat block is. Can't imagine that we're going to miss it. We do not. So we're going to do some damage to it. I'm not... I'll just ask this. Is the damage enough to get the vine to either burn off or release her? I think the idea is yes, because we're using something that the creature is vulnerable to, so I think that's for sure. I think it's extremely likely. So plus 5. Is she going to give that? She does. She does. Great. Now we have to determine how far she actually falls, how far up she was pulled. I think we've got to do... I think it makes sense to do... She could be pulled up quite far, actually, in the jungle. The very tall, like, super short trees. So, I'm going to say 1d4 plus 1 times 10 feet. So 4. Okay, so she's 40 feet in the air. So she's going to take 46 falling damage. Ugh. 18 points of damage. Ow! And she falls out of the tree. That's not good. That is not good at all. So she falls out, and crunch right into the undergrowth in the ground. Wind completely knocked out of her. But now we know they are... I'll just add it here. They are... Let's do it this way. They are 40 feet in the air. So, good to know. Don't try that again. Alright, Ott is snared. What is Ott gonna do? I think Ott's a smart cookie. She's got quite a bit. She's got better than average wisdom. Not the smartest person, but she is wise. And I do think, hey, when you see somebody hurt themselves, wisdom is the stat that you go, I should probably not do that. I also don't want to hurt myself. So I think Ott will try to kind of climb up her own vine and get into the tree limb itself, so she won't just fall 40 feet to the ground. That feels... I can see it as an acrobatics check. I can see it as an athletics check. I'm going to go with acrobatics check for this, because this is a very sort of like balance, trying to squirm your way around. Now the DCs are really low in this scene, so she should have no problem doing it. I say that, though she's definitely going to hit the 7. I know she has at least a +2 dex. She pulls herself sort of up into the tree bough. I'll just ask the Oracle. Does that require an action or is that a movement? Is that action? Yeah, okay. So she doesn't really have necessarily a bonus action or anything. It's going to be super useful for her to be able to do anything with. She can't disengage. She can't teleport away, which I think Lee could have teleported away. That probably would have been smarter. She dash, disengage. Well, she can't move. She's certainly prone. Or not prone. Immobilized. And she's grappled. Well, she's grappled. That's what I'm trying to say. Can't really help anybody. Can't really hide. Because she's... I don't think she would hide. There's no reason for her to do that. Yeah, so she doesn't really have a good bonus action. So she's pulled herself onto a tree limb, but she is, in fact, still kind of held. So she's snared. I would say, but on tree limb. There we go. Alright. That means it's time for the bad stuff. So what are our creatures here? This is a natural place, but it's also a wildly unnatural place. So yeah, let's roll this again. No, I don't like those. Sloods. A slod would be bad news. And a slod wouldn't make a nest. Dragon. Vegapygmies. Now those. That sounds right to me. I like a Vegapygmy. I was thinking... Let's see if they're in here, because I was pretty sure they're in here. Well, first idea, best idea, right? I'll just go with the idea that I had. I do like Vegapygmies, so... Let me see if these work. They should be in here. Where are they? I was thinking Ettercaps. That's the thing that kind of jumped out to me. Ettercaps, and then there's like some... I think there is just a giant... Isn't there a giant wasp? Yeah, I'm thinking maybe some Ettercaps and giant wasp feels like a good... Like the sort of people who would make this. There's also spiders too. I could use spiders. Yeah, I go with the wasp. I like the idea of they fly around. It makes sense for having creatures that are snared up too. Alright. How many Ettercaps can we get? Alright. We can have 1d4 plus... Now, how about this? We'll do 1d6 minus 1. So there's a chance that there will be none. And it's just going to be loss. Okay, so there's going to be one Ettercap. And that would give us the ability to have how many of these bad guys down here? Oh, a lot. A lot. So... I could do 1d12 plus 1, but let's do 2d6 plus 1. And hope that I roll... Or 1d4 plus 1d8 plus 1d6. So that way there's more likely to... A little bit more even spread than 2d6. 24 plus 1d8 plus 1. Well, gosh darn it, that's the maximum. Gonna be absolutely hammered by 13 giant wasps. Oy. Okay. Alright, so we have an Ettercap. And we got a wasp. Or a giant wasp, I should say. Let's see. Ettercaps have 44 hit points. Delightful. Alright. And Giant Wasps have how much? Only 13. Okay, so they're not too bad. There's just a ton of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Wowie zowie. Alright, speaking of, it is their turn, so we do see this Ettercap kind of jump in here. We'll let him, or them, go first. Alright, so they're going to jump in first. They of course have Spider Climb and Web Sense and Web Walkers. They have no problems kind of nimbly-bimbly, brachiation, jumping between Tarzan style, jumping around in this jungle area. And they make some attacks. Yeah, I'm going to use the variant, I think. I like that. Alright, they're definitely going to target somebody who's still in the snare. Leah's not snared, but she is prone. No, she would have had enough movement to get up, so she gets up on her turn. Sorry. So really we have one person who's really kind of a good target. That's going to be Omer. It's going to jump onto Omer. We're going to use the variant Web Garrote. So they're going to make a melee attack +4 and jump over there. They're literally like jumping onto Omer. So they're going to have advantage on the roll because Omer's upside down and grappled. And that kind of just makes sense as they're jumping in, especially for this first attack. So they have a +4 to hit. Omer's not particularly difficult to hit. It's one of the problems, though. Well, a 12 will do it on the die, because that's his AC. So Web Garrote. When they hit, you take some bludgeoning damage. Really minimal, actually. 1d4 +2. Okay, so 5 points of damage for Omer. But that's not the important part. The important part is what comes afterwards. They are grappled. They were already grappled, so that's really not a big deal. Until this grapple ends, the target can't breathe, and the Ettercap has advantage on attacks rolls against it. So you see that, and you jump on it, and they see the Ettercap pulls out some of that stringy silk from their... I don't know if Ettercaps that comes from their mouth or not. I can't remember. I'm going to say their mouth rather than reaching up under the grundle and pulling it out. That's a little bit grosser. So it comes out of the mouth and wraps it around Omer's head upside down and just pulling it, and Omer's like... Lovely. Okay, so Omer is garroted. Omer not having a good day. This is not really out of the ordinary. Alright, so garroted. Perfect. That's the Ettercap. Giant Wasp. There's a buttload of them. So I guess we'll just go. We've got 5 good guys. 1, 2. Well, I'm not gonna use Omer, so they'll split up between everybody else. So we've got 4 people, 13. Who's gonna get the extra one? 3. That is 1, 2, 3. Ott. Okay, so Ott's gonna get the 4th one. I'm gonna make this a little bit easier. So I'm gonna say, just make this a little bit easier for my life. We'll go Leah. There's 3 on her. You're good. There's 3 on her. And Embark has 3 on her. Alright, perfect. Let's go down the list. We'll start off with Ott because she has the most. These guys do not do a ton, I don't feel like. They do a sting, but they can do poison damage. Dang. Ooh. Alright. This could be very bad. 3d6 of extra poison damage on a failed save. Those DC's low, but that really sucked. Oh man. It was real bad. But at least they can't die from that, I guess. Hooray. Alright, so they got a +4 to hit. What is Ott's AC? Ott's AC is 15. So they need to roll, 11s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, well, that's 3 hits. Delightful. So she's going to take 8 plus 6, so 14 points of damage just right off the top. Which takes us down to, what is that, 20... Sorry, I cannot do math in my head right now. Okay, so 25 hit points. And now she needs to make some con saves. She has to roll a 10 on 3 con saves. She got 1 fail though. So 3d6 poison damage. So then she takes an additional 13 points. Still. Yeah, that could have just one shot done her in. It's way too many, too many bad guys. Alright, well that was her. Yikes. Not good. Not good at all. Things are not looking great. Leah, she's got 3 on her. 2 misses. Nice. But 1 hit. So she'll take 4 points of damage. And then her 3d6. I think that's gonna. I think it's just gonna fully knock her out. Man, that really sucks. So she went down to 13 hit points. And then, oh, good, she took 11. Man, she has 2 hit points. Yikes. All right. Well, this has turned out very poorly. All right. Well, there's them. These guys are real nasty. And it shouldn't have dropped out of the tree. That was a very, very bad decision. So that was Ott, that was Leah, so we have 3 on Jurgen. Jurgen's probably the most difficult person to hit. I don't think they're actually gonna... Well, like, Imbar's technically the hardest person to hit. I don't think they're gonna hit her, though. Oh no, that's 16. 116 will hit. Oh, I forgot to do Leah's save for the poison. I just immediately gave her poison damage. Alright, you're gonna take 6 points of damage, so she'll be down to 40. And she will need to make a Constitution saving throw. Yeah, things do not look good. Alright, so she passes, and then we needed to do one for Leah. Yeah, I guess it didn't matter, Leah was gonna fail that. But Jurgen passes, so she does not take the poison damage. The poison damage is really bad, because if you drop to 0, you're poisoned for an hour. You become stable, but you're poisoned for an hour, and even after you regain hit points, you're paralyzed for an hour after that. For that hour afterwards. And that's not great being brought back into combat with hit points only to also be paralyzed. Yeah. Things do not look great. Alright, we got one more, right? No, that was Jurgen. That was everybody. Oh no, we have Imbar. Sorry. 3 on Imbar. Alright. No worries. Imbar. The giant wasps come up and their stingers hit against her plate armor. Nothing doing for her. Okay. That means it is Jurgen's turn. Jurgen! Help? Something? Do something. Anything, please. Now, she does have animal friendship. And these are technically beasts. Convince a beast that you mean it no harm. Choose a beast, so it'll only be 1. Well, it's certainly not worth a spell to do it for one. There's 13 of these guys. That's not going to be a helpful thing for us. Alright, so non-animal friendship. Could do bless. Bless would be super helpful, especially for making those con saves, which is real good. But she also should just cure wounds, because if she doesn't, Leah's for sure going down. She does have a potion, though. What do we think? It's better to bless? Bless is going to stop a lot of damage potentially. So, yeah, I think she's going to go with bless. So she's going to cast bless. That's what she'll do. And who is she going to give bless to? I think she's going to give it to the people she feels would be less likely to pass that Constitution saving throw. And Jurgen doesn't care about it because she also has poison resistance, which is very helpful because she's a dwarf. So, Omer. Embark probably fine. Leah. Yeah, so Leah, Odd, Omer. That's who's going to have it. So, Leah, she got the bless. Odd, she got the bless. Homer, he's got the bless. As he is being strangled. Alright, see, we don't really have to worry about him. Well, Omer suffocating unless he takes damage. Because that changes how the suffocation rules work. Because otherwise you can last a number of minutes plus your con mod. It's something like that. Without taking... without, like, completely passing out from just oxygen deprivation. Alright. I mean, yeah, that's your concern. She can't really do anything else. She's not going to have a relevant bonus action here. Guidance... I believe guidance is an action, right? I don't think it's bonus. This action. Yeah, she does not necessarily have a relevant bonus action here, so she will just hang out. Alright. Well, at least she got the bless off. Omer. Alright, Omer's in a bad way. He's hit point wise, he's okay, but he is being strangulated by this thing and he's trapped by the... he is grappled by that thing. So he's grappled technically by two different things. So you can try to break one of those grapples. So this is more of a logistical question, so I'm just going to ask you, Oracle. If he feels like he breaks the grapple with the Eder Cap, because the Eder Cap is technically hanging on to him, can he push the Eder Cap off fully so the Eder Cap can fall to the ground? I don't know. I think that's reasonable. Especially because the Eder Cap's already using their thing for something else. I didn't say I was going I didn't say I was going to put a modifier on it, though. And since I didn't say it, we're just going to go by the rules. So, unfortunately, that's an 8. That's a no. That's not how that works. Oh, crap. Alright, Omer, you're not the strongest fighter in the world. That's not really your deal. Technically, there's nothing restraining you. You could try to break out. I think he has to try to break out of the grapple. I don't think the Eder Cap having advantage on him is going to be a good look. So he will attempt to break the grapple. He does have Bless, though. He needs to hit a DC 12. Did it on the die. Don't have to worry about it. So he grabs his sort of knife and shoves it up under the web garrote and is able to cut it out. And the Eder Cap's was holding on to that, but then it just kind of like these long fingers rip around his body. Claws kind of grab onto him. His little grippers get him. But he is no longer at least garroted, which is nice. Unfortunately, that's just kind of a staying action if he decides to try to garrote him again, which he probably won't. He'll probably just try to do damage to him, knowing that Richard can break out of it. Alright, that is Omer. He is no longer garroted, but he is still snared by the tree. He's not going to have any relevant bonus actions because he's still grappled. Yeah, because he can't disengage or dash or anything like that. We're just kind of stuck in the trees, so it's a really bad spot to get in a fight with things that are also good at fighting in trees. Which means it's the end of his turn. Or here, let me ask the Oracle. I know we did it for Ott, but let's ask it for Omer as well. Can he pull himself, even without an action? Can he pull himself up the snare, like fine, to try to get onto the tree limb? I don't know, maybe. No. All right. Good to know. So our trees are gonna go. Our trees still have 2 people snared, but we have some people who are not snared. So who are they going to go after first? Let's go after Embark, because Embark's already on the tree, so that makes sense to me. And then I guess it'll be either high, it'll be Jurgen. Low, it's Leah. It's Leah. Great. Good. That won't be awful for her. Alright, so gonna make some attacks. No advantage this time. Alright, well that's a full miss on Jurgen. How about on Leah? Oh, good. Missed. Thank goodness. Alright, so the trees try to grab people and pull them back up into the air. They're unable to do that. So we just have the 2 that are still caught in the air. And that is the end of the round. So back up at the top. It is Imbar. Imbar's been climbing this tree. So Imbar is in the tree. Can she, since we don't have a battle map to know tactically, can she get to one of the people who are snared? There's a 2 out of 3 chance because the only person who was snared that wasn't there, yeah, would be Leah. So only if I roll a 1 or 2, it'll be Leah. Okay, so 3. So who's our next down? Ott. So she climbs up the one that Ott's in. That's the one she ended up going in. So knowing that Ott is snared, but she is on the tree limb, so she is actually fine now. But both of them are sort of in the tree together. So we should put her in tree. So that's where Imbar is. She can't really melee anybody right here. Well, I guess she could. She's got a bunch of people around him, actually. So she will... Let me ask a question. Can she get to Ott for flanking without provoking? Yes. Okay, so that's what she'll do. So she'll move in, and then she will move to attack one of these critters. Advantage. Roll 2 2s. Not helpful. Well, that sucks. And does she have extra attack? Or does it have to? Maybe she has to get to. Nope, she gets extra attack next turn. Nope, just the 1. Well, that sucks. Alright, well, nothing she can do there. Use her fire breath to ignite some stuff and make some smoke. Imbar doesn't have fire breath. She's, Imbar's a human. I don't know. We don't have any dragons born with us. Or anybody who has something like that. But, yeah, we do have some fire spells. Well, that's Imbar. That's a whole lot of nothing. Imbar's the only one who hasn't been hurt, who could heal herself, but ain't doing that. So, dang. Well, nards. It feels like we're just not getting a good chance of doing stuff. Alright, Leah's on the ground. She is surrounded by 3 of these things. So, what is she going to do? Now, Leah is a spellcaster, which means that she's going to have some stuff to do. Now, let's see if she has anything that's going to be really, really good here. Again, she doesn't have a ton of AoE spells. I'm thinking maybe Grease. And hear me out, that sounds like a really weird thing to use here. But I'm thinking of it from like the wasps can't fly when their wings get wet kind of thing. So Grease covers a pretty large area, I believe. So we could maybe get these guys at least down on the ground, not being able to do anything. It's only a 10-foot square. Alright, so that's actually not that great. I was thinking it was a 20 radius for some reason. I think I'm thinking of a different spell. Alright, well, that won't work. Should do a Vampiric Touch. Ooh, Vampiric Touch might be good, actually. I know it's only a, on a hit, the target takes 36 necrotic damage, you get half the dealt. It's okay. It would get her some more hit points, so I think if she did that and, you know, chugged a potion, which she has one, or she could chug 2 potions. She needs hit points real bad. Yeah, no, I'm gonna let her drink 2 healing potions as an action and bonus action. So she double fisting healing potions, trying to get him down. So that's gonna be 44 plus 4, so basically a greater. They rolled almost minimum. Man, the dice are not in our favor today. So she costs 2 healing potions to get 9 hit points back. That's really bad. And that uses all of her actions. Oh, crap. Well, that sucks. Oy. Does not put her in a good position. She doesn't have any... I don't think she has any useful bonus actions. She has a cantrip. Maybe use. Moldor's probably not going to help her. True Strike is an action. Yeah, not really. I don't really have anything that she can use as like a bonus action here. Dang, we are in troubled times for our characters. Things are not looking very good. Okay. Talia. Odd is blessed. She's snared, but she's on the tree limb. She could undo that grapple, but that grapple's not really hurting her at the moment. She does have a bunch of things around her. She can get in flanking with Embar, so she will take out her spear and try to free herself that way of the sort of creatures around her. So she does have multi-attack, which is useful. She has it built in. Alright, so the first attack. Something finally goes in our favor. So she gets a natural 20 on her first attack. Which is great. Perfect. So, she's going to do 2d8 plus 2 damage. Alright, and that is enough to kill one of the wasps. Outright. So she kills one of them that's on her, which, because she did that, procs her rampage, and she turns around and grabs another one and tries to bite it. So she will make an attack. Does she have advantage on this attack as well? Question. She does. Perfect. So she will try to bite this creature. Yeah, their AC is 12. They are very easy to hit. How much damage does that do with her bite? A d4 plus 3. Hey, it's not nothing. It's almost nothing. She deals 4 points of damage to another one of these critters. Put it down to 9. And she'll use her second attack on it. We said that that one also had advantage on it, so she will still get that advantage, and she is gonna hit it. For a whopping 10 points of damage, which will be enough to kill a second one. Alright, so somebody around here is doing the job. Oh, you're looking at the notes for the familiar. Yes. Actually, this is a perfect time to bring Igni out. I should have done that on her turn. I did not think about it. Yeah, I need to bring our flame method out. This is a person who would be very helpful in this instance. Usually don't want to bring them out because they don't stick around very long, familiars. They're not very beefy. You don't really want to put them in combat. But they are immune to poison, which is extraordinarily helpful here. But good catch. I need to bring Igni out. Alright, that was odd. I forgot to use the bless too. Didn't need it. Alright, done their thing. The Eder cap is on Omer. I'm trying to think if there's any reason why he would hop away from Omer. Does he hop away from Omer? I think that's extremely unlikely, but I'll let the dice dictate. So -5. Okay, I guess he will jump away from Omer. Alright, he will choose a different target. I guess just D4. We'll go down the line. 1, who's at the top of the initiative again? Embark. So sees Embar as potentially a threat. I don't know why. Embar hasn't done anything yet. And decides they're gonna hop up to Embar and take that and deal with Embar and Ott, the one person who's actually killing things. So they're going to hop away. That will technically give a opportunity attack to Omer. So I said he had sort of like his knife or dagger out, so he will make that attack. Okay, he'll hit though. Okay, 3. I don't think he has any bonus to his damage, does he? No. Okay. But he slashes the Eder cap as it jumps away. Hey, it's not nothing. It's free damage. It's free damage, baby. So at least we got that. So the Eder cap hops away to go after. But maybe probably because the Eder cap saw that the giant wasp couldn't get through the plate armor on Embar. It's like, oh, I got to deal with that. So he's going to jump over. And I'm going to pull up Eder cap real quick. Going to hop over to Eder cap. Is going to use their full multi-attack this time. 1 bite, 1 claw. +4s. That's the bite. Okay, they're both +4s. We'll do the bite first because it's got some extra stuff that kind of goes on with it. And it's listed first. So +4. Not gonna hit. And the claws. Not gonna hit. They do have this web power, but the trees are already kind of restraining people, so don't really need that much. But we might pull it out here in a little bit. Somebody's running around. Alright, so the Eder cap is as ineffectual as everybody else at dealing with Embar. Unfortunately, she just can't roll above a 2, apparently. Yay. But that is the Eder cap, which makes it Giant Wasp turn. Hooray! These guys are gonna kill the crap out of us. Alright, there are 2 still on Ott. Yeah, +4 to hit. Alright, both of those are gonna miss. Whew. Alright, so they try to go after Ott. Ott's got one in its mouth, like, the corpse of one of them just crunching, the character's crunching in her jaws. And she goes into her blood fury, swinging her spear around at them. Going after him. So they miss on her. We got 3 on Leah. If only we had gotten more than 9 hit points back of 2 healing potions. Alright, first attack. I gotta do this one by one in case she might go down. So her AC is 50. Which that will hit right on the nose for maximum damage. For almost the same amount as those 2 healing potions. If you can't tell, I'm still bitter about it. Alright. No, she's down 2 hit points. Benjamin needs to make that Constitution saving throw. Now she is blessed. Didn't need it. She's doing fine. There's still 2 more attackers though. Alright, that for sure won't hit. And that won't hit either. That's a 14. Leah's in a bad way, by the way. Real bad. Okay. So that's it on Leah. So we move down. We got 3 on Jurgen. Jurgen has a 16 AC. And has all her hit points, so she's fine. So 1 will hit her, and she will take a little bit of damage. And she will take 5 points damage. It's the first hit on hers. Oh no, she got hit earlier? Yeah. So I don't remember that. And she needs to make a poison save throw, which she has advantage on. But she fails somehow. At least she has resistance to the poison damage. Okay, so she takes 5 points of poison damage. So she's still doing okay. I forget, is Bless concentration? It's not. Perfect. Great spell. Alright, well. These things come down and start finding ways around Jurgen's shield and start giving her the hits with their stingers. Just trying to stab at her in between her armor. And are able to get successful, but they probably look a little confused because usually when they inject a whole bunch of like their poison into creatures, those poisons usually knock that creature out, and she does not seem very, very affected by it. And Imbar has 3 on her. This will be the only one that hits. So she'll take a d6. This will for sure be the first damage she takes. So, keep rolling maximum damage for the bad guys, though. And she needs to make a Constitution saving throw, which she is +2. Goodness gracious, gravy. Here. Oh. At least she hadn't been hurt up to this point. So she'll take 10 points of poison damage as the poison kind of beats through her veins. Kind of probably gets her in the neck because that's about the only place you can get her when she's got plate armor on. Alright, that's those guys. It is Jurgen's turn. Jurgen does not feel quite as chipper as she was. She still looks okay though. And she has creatures around her is the problem. So she is going to use because I think she has to at this point. She's going to cast Spiritual Weapon. So that's one of her second level slots. And her... what's sort of her thing? I can't remember. I don't think if we came up with one for her. We'll just say it's a hammer for right now. Because I don't think we've determined exactly her faith yet. Unless I've forgotten about it. Certainly didn't make a note about her character sheet. So, she brings out her big hammer. And I'm going to put it here that she has her weapon. And then she's just going to pull it up around her because she has one. So she will let it do, well, her spiritual weapon uses her spell attack, right? It immediately makes it attack, that's right. Yeah, it's a melee spell attack. Alright. Definitely gonna summon it into flanking. Absolutely gonna hit. So, 6 plus 2. Alright, that's 8 points of damage on one of these guys. That's around Jurgen. 5. And she could use her action to have it redo the attack, but is her attack better? I can't imagine. Yeah, her spell attack would be better. So she'll use her actual action to have the spiritual weapon attack again. This is more likely to hit. That's an 11. Their AC is 12. If only I had blessed myself. But I didn't do that. I didn't think I needed it. Alright, so she misses, but Jurgen's done. Turn over. Omer. No longer has anybody on him. I'll ask again. Can he get up without taking an action? Yes, this time. Okay. I do think he probably still needs to make an acrobatics check. 2 19s in a row. Okay. So Omer gets himself up, and he is snared, but on tree limb. So he's got finally pulled his way back up onto a tree limb, so he can actually take this thing off his foot without falling 40 feet to the ground. As we learned with Leah, it's a real bad idea. So still has an action left. Still has a bonus action. He is blessed. He does have some critters around him. Right? No, he's the only one that doesn't because the other cap was on him. I guess he will pull out a sling. I'll give him a perception check to see if he sees the one that's injured. Oh, that'll beat the DC for the seeing, which is not very high. Okay, so he will make an attack. He's got high ground, I guess. He'll attack down on, so I'll give him the advantage for it. Gotta give him every little advantage I can, or else they're gonna die in this combat. For the height advantage, so he's gonna sling down at the one that I don't think he can kill it. It's got 5 hit points left, but hey, might crit on the one that's hurt. He, in fact, does not crit, but he does hit. We deal just 2 points of damage, I believe. 2 points of damage to the one that's already hurt. Hey, you know, he's doing more damage than some other people are, unfortunately, who are much better fighters than him at this point. So, alright. That is Omer. That would be an action. He doesn't really have a relevant bonus action. Not until he gets this stupid thing off of him. This stupid jungle vine off of him. And he can't do that with a bonus action. He will... Nobody's around him. He's going to try to scramble a little bit and see if he can hide. Maybe. He could always try and hide. But he doesn't. We don't have to worry about that. He nearly falls off the tree limb again. Probably would have happened if he rolled a natural one, but he just rolled real close to it. Even with the D4 from Bless, he cannot beat the DC to hide in this scene. There's no way. Alright, so Omer slips and slides around sort of like the moss and mildew and other sorts of fungus and things that are slicking these sort of branches of the trees as he tries to scoot his way sort of around on it. And the 4 awakened trees, they will attack people who are not currently snared. So we'll just kind of go down the list. I think that makes the most sense. So they get a +4 to this. Plus 4, +6. +6. Alright. So against Embar, have to roll pretty high. No. Against Leah, surprisingly, no. Who's next on the list? 13. That might hit somebody. 15. That is Jurgen. Yeah, that'll hit Jurgen. So Jurgen's gets pulled up into the air, so she gets snared and is hanging upside down. And Omer is already snared still. Okay. So even the people who are snared, it's actually almost better for the people who are snared to stay in the tree limbs. Because the snares don't go pick somebody else off the ground. Alright, back up at the top. That's Embark. She is in the tree. She's got a number of these things around her. She will... is she maintaining advantage? We're able to move into advantage? I think so. +3. Yeah. Alright, so she will make an attack. Come on. Hey, another one. But 13 for sure will hit. I don't think there's any way she doesn't kill this thing, but just in case. She could say 2d6. Yeah. That kills this thing outright. So she kills one outright. Or kills one of the ones that's on her. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 of 13 are still left. Yikes. Alright, Imbar has taken some damage. Will use their bonus action to Second Wind. So they are going to get 5 plus a d10 back. Alright, 14 points. Nice. A lot better rolls than some of the other ones. Alright, so let's be back to 44. That puts her near full again. Perfect. She slashes into these things. But that's all she can do right now. Yep, that's her. So maybe turning the tide, that would be nice. We'll see. Leah. Leah is still in bad shape. Leah has to get some of these things away from her. And she doesn't really have she hasn't hurt any of the ones near her. I think she's going to blow everything, all but one charge of the magic missile. I think or she could hit him with the web of wand. And hold on. Check it. Web again. I forgot that she has one web. Difficult terrain lightly obscure the area. The webs are anchored. The layer across the collapse spell ends at the start of your turn. The depth over. On fail, the creature is restrained as long as it remains in the webs or until it breaks free. You can use a strength check to get out of it. The webs are flammable. Yeah. These things fly, which gives me the idea that they're probably slightly taller than Leah, so she's going to try to cast web, like, essentially above her. Now, she needs to move, is the thing, to not get caught in the web herself, if she wants to hit all of them. If not, she's going to only be able to hit 2. I think I'm just going to have to go with the 2 and hope for the best. So that is what she's going to do. She's going to turn around. She's going to use the web of wand, or the wand of webs. Web of wands. It's a bunch of wands all webbed together. All right, they need to make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw. 1 passes, 1 fails. So 1 is webbed up real bad. So I'll just choose 1. This one will be webbed. Alright. Bonus action. And I bought her a number of potions thinking that, you know, this will be useful. I didn't realize I was going to drink them all within seconds of each other, but here we are. Let's roll higher. Roll higher, dice. Dice gods, bless me. Bless me, dice gods. Eh, that's better. That's 8 points back. Leon's at a flat 10. Alright, and she is going to... Igny's going to pop out. So Igny will enter the initiative. Igny will go right under her. I think it's reasonable that he will be able to get the one that's in the web and another one with his sort of fire breath. So that's what he's going to try to do. He's going to jump out there and try to... And that is true. His fire breath actually is 3d6 now. Because our cantrip will not. Wait a minute. Alright, so they need to make... They are restrained, which I think they just auto... When you're restrained, do you have disadvantage or you just auto-fail dexterity saving throws? I can't remember. Disadvantage. They have disadvantage on dexterity saving throws. So they have a dexterity saving throw, which they have +2. But that one's... So the first one's got disadvantage. Unfortunately, +2 is DC 11, and that is just at the DC for Mephit. So Igni blows out, but that one is still going to take extra damage, even though they'll take damage, and the other one will take... Was an 11 on that. Alright, so we'll take 3d6. So one's going to take 11 points of damage, the other one's going to take... Sorry, they're going to take 5 points of damage, but that other one takes an extra d6, I believe, from web. The webs are flammable, dealing 2d4 damage to any creature that starts its turn there. Alright, so this one's gonna get... So one gets 5. And one gets 7. Woo! Oh, yeah. The dice are killing us. Literally. Alright, so... And not gonna be webbed anymore. Dang, I was really hoping we'd get a little bit more out of that. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Alright, down to Jurgen. Jurgen has her spiritual weapon up. She's going to keep doing what she's been doing. So, she is going to... Or, sorry, these are the... That was Leah's turn. I need to put this here. Igni into the wrong thing. I was like, wait, that's not right. There we go. Like, it can't be Jurgen's turn. It is Ott's turn. That makes more sense. Alright, Ott is blessed, but snared. She does have a couple around her, though. And she's in her full blood fury, so she will make an attack. Can she maneuver away to get advantage? I think that's extremely likely. Yeah. Alright, so she will get advantage on the first attack with her spear. She will hit. And they will do a d8 plus 2. Alright, which is going to be 5. And I think they've got more hit points than that, right? Oh yeah, the one's on 10. There we go. Okay, so that one's down to 8. And she will double up the attack and go for it again. Gonna hit again. 28 plus 2. 7 points damage. So, one's barely hanging on. Its wings fluttering. Ott can move around a little bit with it, but I don't think she wants to disengage because Embark kind of needs her there to do her extra damage too. Even though she would much rather be using her longbow. But she is surrounded by big old wasps. So not really an option. Or at least not a practical one. Alright, that is Ott. It is the Ettercap. The Ettercap's on Imbar. What's the Ettercap going to do? I think Ettercap thinks. You can do their classic multi-attack. +4/+4. Or they could try to web. I haven't been using the web so far. I think it's going to be hard to hit Imbar with the web without potentially... Oh no, it's not an area effect. It's just one. Yeah, so they will try to... The other cap's going to... Oh, it's a ranged attack though. And I said they're in melee. And if they disengage, they're going to lose the round. Alright, so they'll just do their standard multi-attack. With the bite first. I technically should have advantage on this. Which will be a 20, which will hit. Alright, so it's going to hit with the bite. Alright, so going to take 7 points of piercing damage and 3 points of poison damage. Nothing changes for Imbar about that, so she is just going to take a straight 10 points of damage, and then she has to save. She needs to make a Constitution saving throw. She is not blessed, which means she fails, which means she gets the poisoned condition, which means she now has disadvantage on attacks. Ay. It's bad. She's in the tree. She is poisoned. But that is the other cap. Yeah, that's the other cap. Great. Giant wasps. There are 2 on not. Let's do their rolls. Those will miss. Hooray. Good for us. There are 3 on Leah. Leah really doesn't have the hit points for this. You got to keep the bad guys off your wizard, but that's hard when your wizard is the reason she doesn't have any hit points because she fell out of a tree by her own volition. But that's me not knowing how far down she was until she cut herself out. So I guess that's my fault. Not really random chance there. I guess I could check before she did it, but I don't know. It felt like the gut reaction somebody might take. Alright, so I'm going to roll these all individually, just in case she goes down. Alright, first one's a miss. Second one's a miss. Third one, come on. Also going to be a miss. Leah dip dives and dodges out of the way. These wasps trying to hit her with their stingers. She kind of dips and dives out of the way and is able to stay alive. So we got 3 on Jurgen. A hit and a crit. Delightful. Alright, let's do the hit first. She has to make a save. She'll pass that save. So she'll take 4 points of damage. So none of the poison. She gets close to being bloodied. And the crit will, unfortunately, probably send her over the edge on that. Oh, 11 points. Ow. Jurgen, that's who I'm picking up. 11. So 15. Has to make that save again. Still has advantage on it though. Okay. No poison damage. The Jurgen still does not look good. Alright. Perfect. Imbar's got 2 on her as well still. In addition to the other cap. But both of those I think are going to hit. They are. Well, crap. But at least it's minimum damage. So she takes 6 points of damage. Which is good. She's down to 28. But now she's going to make 2 saves for the poison damage. I believe she has a +2 to con, right? Yes. Alright, well, now you know what number she needs to roll. She has to roll a 9. Okay. Okay. Whew. Alright, so we're going to make it through it. Man, did not know it was going to be a super... I mean, I should have known it was involved combat. When you throw a whole bunch of monsters on this, it's always going to take a while. I just thought it was going to be a thing. Alright, and we've got 2 on Imbar. Alright, sorry. That was Imbar. Jurgen. Jurgen not looking great. Looks okay, though. Has Cure Wounds, but to get Cure Wounds off on Leah, she has to get next to Leah. Which means they have to deal with the stupid thing that's here right now. And she does not have that bonus action disengage, or else she'd use it, because she's not that kind of sidekick. Oh. Alright, so she is going to... Oh, Jurgen got snared. That's right. So Jurgen is actually kind of... Well, I guess they flew up to attack her. And the spiritual weapon can fly, so it's not an issue. The spiritual weapon will fly up, get into flanking with one of these creatures. Actually, it can't get there. She got pulled up 40 feet. Spiritual weapon can only move 20. She'll have to use both of her actions to move it up and make the one attack against the one that's hurt. There's no way it doesn't kill it with a crit, though. And the hammer comes through and just smashes through when these wasps and the thin little crunch of carapace. And she takes one of them out. Alright, we've just been asking the question. So can she try to get up without, since she doesn't have any actions left? No. Okay, so she cannot. She's still kind of swinging around. She can't really, doesn't have a chance to be able to pull herself up yet. That is Jurgen. It is Omer's turn. He's still snared, but he still does have less. He's keeping his eyes open. He's got a good vantage point. He sees that that one on Ott only has one hit point. It's kind of sluggish. It's kind of, it's basically standing still. So he's going to take a swing at that one. Yeah. He'll miss though. Oi. All right. Well. Great job. Well, if I use the action to attack, then I can't. Then I don't have anything to do. Because I can try. He can try to hide again. No, he's got. There's got to be something he can do, right? All right. No, there's not, because he needs the full action to try to break the snare. It's only a DC 12. Or sorry, it's a DC 14. Which shouldn't be too difficult. Hopefully with less. He's got about a 50-50 shot of it. And less than that, actually, still. He doesn't have any bonus. No, I guess slinging is the right thing to do in this case, because the snare's not really hurting him. So, no. Alright, who is snared? Snared. We have one snare left. Alright, if it's the low number, go after embark. That's a low number. Go after embark. +6. Grabs embark. Embark's in the tree already. So I'm going to make it like a contested strength saving throw. To try to knock her off the limb. Try to pull her off from her footing, because she's not like, instead of pulling up, they have to pull them like to the side. All right, 14. Let's see what does a weakened tree have? What weakened tree? Oh, that's an 18. Hey, all right. She beat an 18. She certainly does not. Woo! And she gets pulled off the limb, and she's upside down. She's poisoned anyways. So she is currently snared. And dangling upside down again. Hooray. Alright, it's back up at the top. Speaking of, it is Imbar's turn. Does Imbar believe that she can get back up without using an action? Nope. I guess she could swap weapons. Yeah, so she'll use her bonus action to put her sword away, and as part of the action to pull out her bow and attack. She will take a shot at... I mean, I guess this one on Odd is the one that looks the most hurt. We're just trying to kind of get monsters off the board, kind of, at this point. So take a shot at that. And crit it. Alright, well, it's only got one hit point, so I'm pretty sure she killed the crap out of it. Alright, so she kills one. And that's all she can do while she's hanging out upside down. She does not have a bonus action that's going to be useful here. Oh, but she does get to make attempt another save against her poison condition. That's where I could have used that natural 20. Nope, she is still poisoned. Technically, she would have had disadvantage on the attack. Does she have a +6? I think she has a +6 to hit. She has a +7 to hit. So she absolutely hits that thing. Okay, so even with the disadvantage, she was fine. Leah. Alright. Leah is in a position, we've removed one of them, so she could disengage. She could try to use the web again and hit both of them. That did work out really well. Igni might recharge. If not, he still also has fire spells. Or a fire cantrip. So, yeah, I think we try to do that. So the wand, she'll bust another wand of web. And she'll try to hit the 2 remaining ones on her. Right? She just has 2? Or she have all 3? No, she has all 3. So we'll try to get the 2 injured ones, the ones she's trying to get. Alright, so they need to make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw. That one will for sure fail. And the other one will pass. Well, that's unfortunate. Alright, well, the first one fails. So the first one is webbed. I'll put it down here, even though it's not really going to matter. Because I think probably going to die real quick here. She does not really have a good bonus action to do, I don't think. She's out of potions. I don't think she has anything that's going to be useful here. She does have silvery barbs. Probably should have used silvery barbs earlier. Did not think about it. Alright, be full action to use the wand of magic missiles, which I thought about doing. I probably should have done the wand of magic missiles to just get them off the board. You live and you learn. What can I say? Alright, so one of them is webbed. Igni, do you get your thing back? He does. He recharges. And this time they have to make... Looking at the wrong thing. So he recharges on a 6. 50-foot cone. He's going to be able to get those 2 for sure. Alright, they need to make a DC 11 dex save. They're pretty dexterous. You get a bonus. Oh, sorry, but the other one's restrained. So the first one makes it. The second one, for sure, already fails. Alright, so that one is going to... They take 3d6. Yeah, they took half. Ooh, even at half. That's still quite good. That's still 7. I think just quite doesn't kill it. It's got 1 hit point left. But it is almost time for them to start thinking about bucking out. Because now they're hurt. A lot of them are hurt, and they're down. They're getting close to half numbers. Close. The one in the web didn't even matter they were in the web. Oh, sorry. Sorry. 8 was the one that was in the web. I did the web after it. So both of these guys are going to die. So they get 2 of them. Nice. So they are successful. Yes. Perfect. Alright, that's Igni. Ott. So she's still up there. She's got 1 giant wasp on top of her. She'll make a couple of attacks. Both of those will hit. For 13 points of damage, so she'll kill the last one. And Ott no longer has 1 on her. But she's snared, so she can't disengage or dash or move away. Need like 1 extra action. Because if she could get away, she could get her bow out, and that's much better for her. Much better for everybody involved if she can use her bow. But instead, she's up there on that tree limb staring down that Ettercap who's probably about to pounce on her. Because now she's unattended. Speaking of, Ettercap's no longer on the embark because the embark got pulled off the tree limb. So the only one on that tree limb right now, looking straight down the barrel at Ott, is going to go try to attack Ott. I'll do the attack separately because Ott does not have a lot of hit points. You know what? Ott had a bonus action, and she had 12 hit points. If I was paying attention, she for sure would have drank the healing potion. So I'm going to correct my own inability. Alright, so 7 hit points back for Ott. Hey, it's not nothing. 20. Almost 20, so. Alright, first attack is the bite attack. And we'll hit. 28 plus 2 plus a d8 of poison, which she can't really resist. Alright, so she's going to take 8 points. Good thing that we have a potion. Down to 11. And she needs to make a Constitution saving throw, which she does have Bless for. Which I think she's going to need. That's a 7. Does she have a +4 for Constitution saving throw? No, she really doesn't. So Ott is now also poisoned, which is not good. And the other cap has one more attack. They'll take a swing with their claw, and they'll hit with their claw. 2d4 plus 2. That's 3. And she will take another 5 points of damage. Down to 6 hit points. Looking not great. You know what? I should have given the Ettercap. We had 14 creatures in combat, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. Yeah, probably should have done that, but I didn't. But now I know all the giant wasps will. So all the giant wasps now need to start making charisma roll under. So their charisma is an 8. So if they roll a 9 or better, they're gonna bug out. There's 5 of them, so we'll just do them all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so 1 goes, 2 are in. Okay, so all but the number 2 and 3 leave. All right, so this guy goes. The ones on Imbar leave. The ones that are with Jurgen are kind of out of the melee from everybody else. Is kind of grouped up a little bit more, I feel like, except for maybe Leah. So they take off. So it's just the 2 that are on Jurgen. And they're going to zip in and try to get a little pokey poke. That's a lot of pokey poke. I probably will have to. Leah will fling out her hand and cutting words the crit. So Leah's gonna get her cutting words off, and she's gonna give that. She's gonna give the bonus to who really needs it. I think Ott really needs it. So I'm gonna give Ott as the. What's the point? Is she has the. I'm gonna get the silvery bar bonus. All right, so we're gonna re-roll the crit. So the 14 is gonna hit, regardless. 16 is her AC. So can't do anything about that. But I can maybe take the crit away. Hey, reduced it by 1. That's all we needed, so they don't crit. That's all we were trying to do. Still got hit twice, though. Still probably gonna go down. Yeah. That'll do her. Alright. 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh. She had 1 hit point left. She has advantage against the poison damage. This is a very important roll. Because if the poison damage from these giant wasps reduces her to 0, she's paralyzed even when she comes back for another hour. Which means that we're going to lose our healer. The DC's low. The DC's an 11. She has a +1 to the roll. She only needs a 10 or better. She's got to save twice. And she doesn't have bless. So, 10 or better. That's 1 save. 2 natural 20s. Jurgen's out here fighting for her life. And she's doing it. She's really doing it. Great job, Jurgen. That was incredibly clutch rolls. Extremely well done. Well done with that randomness. Alright, so they save. So, that's all the bad guys. It is Jurgen's turn. Jurgen does not look good. Jurgen is going to use her bonus action to use the spiritual weapon. Spiritual weapon will hit. Do minimum damage. I can't remember. Is there any bonus to the spiritual? Plus my spellcasting bonus. Okay. So 4 points of damage. Okay. So one of these is down to 9 hit points. But she is going to... She could redo the attack, and there's a chance that she might kill it. But she's not going to live through another attack if we leave even one up. So she is going to place her hand on herself, and she is going to 2nd level Cure Wounds herself. Because she has to stay up. Even though... You know, we'd rather give that to somebody else, but she also can't move to them. Cure Wounds is a little weird one because now I'm starting to get it sort of confused with the 2024 one because we're using the 5e version. So we don't do 2d8, we do 1d8 plus our spellcasting modifier. Plus an extra 1d8 because we're casting at 2nd level. So 2d8 plus 3. We need high numbers. We really need some high numbers here. Those are high numbers. Nice. Jurgen coming in clutch. 17. Alright, so she's going to get 17 hit points back. She's going to go up to 18. I love clerics. For moments like this, like, I just got to do it. Just got to stay in it. Hopefully be able to help my friends at some point. Alright. That is her. That's all she can do. That was a bonus action interaction, and let's see. Can she get up onto a tree limb without an action? Nope, sure can. Thank you. Alright. That was Jurgen. That brings us to Omer. Omer's hanging on the tree. Omer's doing pretty well. All things considered. He's at 27 hit points. I think he's got more hit points than everybody else. He can see a giant wasp. He can see the Eder cap. Let me ask this, kind of, because we don't really know that we're playing with a pretty amorphous field. Can Omer get over to the Eder cap without having to, like, make some sort of athletics check? Probably unlikely. Yeah, no. Alright, and he's not good at those, so he's not going to try that. So I guess he'll sling. He could sling in an Eder cap or he could sling in a giant wasp. I feel like he can see that Ott feels like she's in the most trouble, and he's going to try to sling at the other cap. He'll miss. Don't worry, it's still up. Like, don't get crazy. I know Jurgen's doing cool stuff down there, like keeping it together. Omer's just a dude. He's just a guy that used to work at the university and now is fighting for his life. So, again, not a fighter by any stretch of the imagination. He's doing his thing. Big combat this time. Alright. Great job, Omer. The Awakened Trees, I think they have everybody snared. Everybody's got a snare on them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So nothing for them. It's back up to the top with Embar. Can Embar get up without using an action? Yes. She will attempt to do that. It's a DC 7 athletics check. She's going to make that. She's going to get back up there. I assume that she can immediately get into flanking with the other calf. She will put away her bow as her bonus action and draw her Moonblade sword. As it comes out and the pale light goes around and starts to flicker off the silky, sort of darkish, blackish carapace of the center cap as it flips around on her. And she'll try to cut it down. Nope, not gonna happen for us. Set her up to do the cool thing. She biffed it. Real big. Great job, Embar. Embar not doing great this combat. Alright. That's Leah. Leah no longer has ether caps on her. Or giant wasp on her. Jurgen looks okay. Ott looks in a bad situation. Has this, what is clearly the most difficult creature on top of her. Yeah. And with that, and knowing how desperate the situation is, and knowing that Webb, assuming that Webb is not going to work on a spider monster, which I think is a pretty safe assumption, Leah's instead going to go with Old Reliable. Or she can't get to anybody though. Vampiric touches is surprisingly a touch spell, so she can't do that. She's snared though, right? Did she get reset? No, she's the only one that's not snared right now. She does have Bless on her, so it feels like she should probably use something that's got an attack on it, and she'll get the bonus for Bless. What would be good for this? She could hit it with Chromatic Orb. No, I think this is a very, very tough situation. One of the many, many tough situations that Leah's been in as an adventurer now. They're hardened, all of them. Well, except for Omer. Even Jurgen, though we don't know a ton about Jurgen's backstory, we found her tied up in a dungeon. So she seems to know what she's doing. So really Omer's the only one who doesn't. Leah's hardened by this. I think she knows that, hey, this is the time to use the thing that is the help button. And she reaches into her belt pouch and pulls out Old Reliable, the Wand of Magic Missile, and points it at the other cap. And unleashes everything but one of the charges on it. So that is how many charges? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7. So she's gonna unleash. I know it's technically supposed to be 1d4, but I like to roll all the dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. She's just hanging around. All right, 18 plus another 7, so that's 25. She pulls out the wand and flicks it in its direction, and just a barrage, a pulling down the trigger on her assault rifle burst of magic missiles comes out, and hammers into this thing for 25 hit points, leaving it with, let's see, that would be 16 hit points left. Not looking good. She hits this thing while it's flashing around trying to attack, because now it's surrounded. It went from surrounding people to now being surrounded. And I imagine the tip of her wand of magic missiles smokes slightly from unleashing all of them in one go. Alright, she doesn't really have a bonus action. I'll roll for Igni. I don't think he's going to get his thing back, though. It's unlikely that I'm going to roll it twice in a row. Alright, I lied. He recharges his ability. He's going to fly over to Jurgen and breathe fire on those stupid things. On the two remaining guys. So they need dexterity saving throws. One passes. The first one passes. The second one fails. 3d6. Alright, so 5 and 11. One goes down to 4. This one goes down to 2. They're in pretty dire straits now. Getting some of those wasps away really turned the tide very quickly here. Now we're suddenly on top. And still have some big stuff we can pull out if we need to. Want to, really, at this point. Reach on Igni. Yep, no, that's everything for her. She doesn't have a good, useful bonus action here. So, I think that's kinda... yeah, that's gonna be it for her. Alright, that means that it's Ott's turn. Ott's turning around, this thing just next to her. She stabbed at it, and then Imbar hopped up on the branch behind it and slashed at it, and it ducked out of the way and turned around and kind of hissed at her. This little, like, mandibles. Turns back at Ott, and Ott's gonna try to stab this thing, try to get this over with. I mean, she's still in her sort of blood fury, like, going after this thing. That's a hit. That's a hit. Oh, wait. I gotta re-roll those. Because she's poisoned. So those are gonna cancel out. So 2 attacks, just straight. What was the other caps that you see? I can't imagine it's very high. It sure is not. So both of those will definitely hit. For 9 points, which is not enough to kill it. Unfortunately. Rolled a little low. So it's got 5 hit points left. We have that Silvery Barbs bonus, which we're gonna use now. And we have the Bless. We'll see if we need the Silvery Barbs bonus. Because we have to be, what's the DC for her poison condition? It's only 11. So, we don't have to roll very high. We don't need it. And thankfully, she is finally no longer poisoned anymore. It was a valiant effort. All right, that's it for Ott. So it's the Ettercaps. Ettercap, kind of one moment things were going great, riding high on life for the Ettercap. Turns around with her 8 eyes. A moment later, hey, where are my friends at? All my friends are gone, and these guys are kicking my butt. I liked it better when I was just trying to bite them and eat them and capture them. Alright, I think the Ettercap's going to run. I'm going to give them technically advantage on this because I don't think that the Ettercap has a pretty... They're not stupid. They're slightly less intelligent than people, but they actually have a positive wisdom modifier. So this seems like wisdom based. We should get out of here. So I can give them advantage on their charisma morale check. Doesn't really matter. They're going to stay and fight. Real dum-dum. Okay, so can see who's the biggest threat. Leah, for sure, right now. But Leah is far away. You could hit him with a web, potentially. But I don't think that solves their current position. I think that they know that they need to get out of here. Definitely being in between two of the fighters, the two big fighters of the group, is not a good place to be. And realizing that very quickly. This is kind of wonky, but I want to see, because of the spider climb ability, if they can run around, basically kind of give themselves a free disengage. So I'm just going to ask the Oracle. And the only reason I'm giving them the opportunity to ask is because they have spider climb. Can they, you know, wriggle their way around and get out of here for free without provoking opportunity attacks and not having to use a disengage action? Hard no. Hard no on that. In fact, the moment it tries to turn sideways, you see Embark actually probably Ott. See Ott sort of wrap her arm around the snare vine that's attached to her and actually like lean like down the side of the tree branch to try to stay with this thing so she can stab it. And they're like, okay, that's not gonna work. So then they are going to try to attack somebody, probably Ott, because Ott's quite hurt. And gonna go after Ott. Gonna miss with the first attack. Right? No. Okay. And the second attack, so missed with the bite. Gonna hit with the claws. Unless I do something about it. You know what? No, I'm gonna let Ott take it. Ott's gonna take the damage, and it's just gonna be whatever it's gonna be. She's not gonna fall 40 feet. We're not worried about that because she's still snared. So we won't have to worry about her unconscious body falling out of the tree. So the claws do 2d4 plus 2 damage. So good chance that this will KO Ott. Ott takes 4 damage and is still up. Takes the absolute minimum damage as this thing tries to take care of her. And she will not go down. And she's going to stay fighting. She just growls and does that hyena bark laugh at her. Back at the other cap. And the center cap, I think, is like, oh, this is bad. This is really bad. I thought I could stay in this fight. I don't think I can stay in this fight. These things are going to kill me. They won't stop until I kill them or they kill me. And they're probably going to kill me. Cannot disengage. Cannot... At this point, I think it has to jump. It has to make a jump and try to get the heck out of here. And hope that they don't hit it. So that's what it's going to do. It's going to make a jump. I'll let Ott go first. Yeah, Ott's going to hit it. Unlikely that she's not going to kill it. She does 6 points damage, which kills the Ettercap. Ettercap, gone. Jurgen's got 2 of these little buzzy wasps on her. They're extremely hurt, so I'm going to give them advantage, aka disadvantage. So one's going to run away, the other one's going to run away. So they disengage and fly off. And we find ourselves, at least, you know, for the moment, back in the still of the jungle. From our little side adventure. Oh man, that was a heck of a fight. It was a long fight. But we think we have zeroed in on what we think the source of the miasma is. Now, I do have to ask an oracle question. Is it related to the nest we just found? I don't think so. I think this is just a weird giant wasp ettercap thing that's going on. So I think it's extremely unlikely this is the central thing. Yeah, it's not. Unfortunately, they've got to rest. They did kill the Ettercap. Well, let me ask another question. We've seen the nest now. Do we think there are more Ettercaps around? I'm trying to figure out, do we rest here or do we move and rest? So, can we rest here? I kind of think it's 50-50. We killed a whole bunch of these things and drove a bunch of them off. So I think it's kind of a 50-50. We kind of look at it and we're like, I don't think we can rest here. We don't know how many more there are in there. If there are more than one Ettercap, they're like, we should probably move on. But we know where we're going now. And so I think we can reach... Oh, 16 minus 9 equals 5. Yep. Close enough. Close enough. Yeah, it should. You're right. It should be 7. You are correct. I did that wrong. That's okay. I can go back and fix it now. So we are going to take that short rest. We're going to have to move first, and I think we're going to have to move out of the Miasma. I think that's where we're going to have to move. Because I don't think we want to rest in the Miasma. So yeah, I think we're going to move back towards... Which is kind of Rhinefire's lair, but we're not going there. We're just going to go rest. Though I guess we could tell Rhinefire what we're doing. So we'll run back to Rhinefire's lair. We'll hop back into our exploration tracker. And we will see how long that takes us. 1. Hey. Can't be mad about that. Alright, so we've been very economical with how much time we've spent. Unfortunately, we just got our butts kicked by that encounter. So we gotta figure out some way to rest. We do need to make saving throws for everybody with that DC of 6. So for Leah, fine. For Imbar, fine. Ott's looking good. Omer's looking good. And Jurgen's still looking okay. She's not great. But they are able to make it out. Now, I got a rule for it. We're moving. Is there some sort of thing that comes across us? Good. No. So we make it back to Rhinefire. So we kind of tell Rhinefire and Veer a little bit about sort of what's going on. Hey, we think we've found the central Miasma. We were attacked by strange creatures within. Insects of gargantuan size. And strange spider people. So it's difficult in there. We're seeing a lot of things that have been warped and changed, twisting trees that come to life and attack people. So we need a quick breather, and then we're gonna go back in, and I think we can at least we know where the. We're pretty sure we know where the source is, where the center is. We don't know what's at the source or the center yet, though. So we're going to have to figure that out. And I think sort of Rhinefire kind of shakes himself a little. Good work. We can figure out what this is, and hopefully you'll be able to stop it. Were you able to find anything of note in your journey? I guess that's true. We didn't loot the body. There is kind of one humanoid body here. I don't expect that the wasps have anything. We didn't hang around to go investigate the nest. But sure, I'll give us a look. Do we find anything of you? Well, I'll do an investigation check first. Yeah, that'll hit. Do we find anything of interest treasure-wise on the Ettercap? I don't know. Maybe. They had a bunch of humanoids they had up there. Yes. Okay. Let's do a do one of these guys. 25. Oh, that's... Let's do... Oh, wait, a little bit. I thought I moved it down here. That's okay. I can just use it right on my DM binder. I think I moved it. For some pocket contents, just to see kind of what this creature had on it, what they had picked up. What they find on it, and they kind of tell. Red fire. I guess question. Let me roll a d6. Yeah, and it should have 1 HP left, but there was another person who was gonna attack it. It wasn't gonna get away. I rolled a 2. Alright. Sure, I'll add it to the treasure, but 8. Okay, so we find a small sort of silver wine cork, like a silver-handled wine cork, or it's probably like brass wine cork that they had picked up off a body or something, and they liked it because it was shiny, I guess. So I'll put that under our treasure, and I'm gonna put this under. I'm gonna start a new little line. It's gonna be treasure, just because we have a 50% split. Rhyme fire. And no, what? That. First choice of items. Sorry. We get first choice of items. So, first thing that we've got in here is we've got let's say a brass engraved corkscrew. Worth about 8 silver. It's just like an oddity that they had found. It's like a magpie kind of thing where it's like, oh, I found this really neat little treasure and I have kept it. But we look at it and be like, oh, it's not trash, but it's nice for a corkscrew, but it's also just a corkscrew. So I'm not really sure why you're walking around with it. But that's sort of where we are. Alright, so done that. We have the report with Rhyme Fire. It's like, well, found this corkscrew, it's not much. And unless we come across some humanoids, it won't be. We don't anticipate a lot of treasure. We already said that before. He goes, that is true. You did say that. Hopefully there will be something else of use. Maybe something strange or exotic that I could add to the horde. That would be nice. Something, a real statement piece is what I'm looking for. Something to really sort of bring the layer together. He's kind of like, uh-huh. Well, we'll keep our eyes out. Excellent. But for now, please, dear, attend to them. And, rest. Gather your strength. Before you go back in again. You are my honored guests, of course. And we will take a short rest. We'll see. Hey, does anything come and attack us during anything weird happen on a short rest? I'm gonna roll twice, just because we're in a protected area. Well, I rolled a 12 and a 1. Those are the two numbers in which things happen. Well, one's a combat encounter, and I really don't want to have a combat encounter, because we just got our butts kicked in one. So I'm gonna go with the 12. And we'll have to see what this is. I think they just spend some time down here in the shrine, maybe. Because I don't think there's going to be any good, necessarily wilderness dressing. This is sort of under, technically we're underground. Oh, those are bad guys. That's not going to help me. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so we've got 3 different lists of like just some dungeon dressing that we can come across. So something that we can come across while we're just kind of sitting around, catching our breath, doing that sort of stuff. So I've got 3 lists, so it'll be 1, 2, 3, and I'll roll twice. So, all right. So once off the second list and once off the third list, which are both D100 lists. 82 and 86. Okay, that works for me. That one's a little weird, but... so one of the things that we kind of come across, and who of our fun companions is doing this? We'll just roll a d10 and see which one. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright, it's Yurkin. So Yurkin's kind of exploring the water temple, which makes sense. I think she's the only person who hasn't been here. No, Embark hasn't been here. Right? Anyways, Jurgen's out just kind of exploring because she hasn't really seen this sort of dilapidated water temple before. So she's just kind of exploring sort of the layer in the room. And she finds this, it's almost like a little cabinet, curio cabinet. Or not quite an armoire, but kind of like that. So a large size sort of thing that's kind of tucked into a corner, it's kind of like off kilter a little bit, like it's kind of slimy because there's a bunch of water and mold in here. It's kind of gross. And she kind of reaches out and kind of opens it up, and within it there is a set of sort of scales, like weight scales. They seem to be pretty tarnished at this point, but she takes a look at it, and yeah, how much is... I didn't remember how much scales are worth. We'll see. Let me see. Let me look, because I know it's in here. And let's see what kind of scales. Scale is usually worth about 5 gold. This one's pretty tarnished. And let's say that's... okay, that's still not bad. So it's still worth probably about 90%. So what is it? So worth about 4 gold and 5 silver. She kind of takes it out and let's look at it. Now, as she touches it, is there some sort of magical effect because this thing was put away? I think that's extremely unlikely, but let's see if she gets a magical reaction off of it. No, she does not. Not with a -5. Just up and kind of finishes and takes a look at it. Kind of brings it back in and kind of goes over to Rhinefire. When I was about to call him a different dragon name from a different campaign. Different name completely. I don't know why. Not even the same color type of dragon. I just where my brain is. Dragon, this name. No, Rhinefire. Brings it kind of up to Rhinefire. I found this in a little curio cabinet in the back. I don't know if you knew this was here or not. It's kind of tucked away. I don't know. Does he know? Did he know about it? No, I didn't. Sort of like reaches out a meaty paw for her to place it in. Yeah, here you go. Gives it to him. Is there any sort of like symbols or iconography or anything kind of on that? Nope, guess not. Yeah, I didn't say. Should have probably given that a +3. No, not really seeing that anything. Interesting. Well, I don't really know, I'll be honest, I don't know too much about the original function of this, I believe your friend called it a shrine. Ah, yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, it's got all the trappings of what used to be a shrine at some point. Do you, he looks her up and down. It's very clearly easy to tell that she's like kind of a cleric-y kind of person, religious person. Do you have any inclination what something like this would be used for? Oh, well, I guess it kind of depends. The water, maybe. Sure, I'll give her a religion check. Why not? That's not very good. The DC is also 6. So, you know, right, what we were looking for. So I guess she does know. Like, well, it could be kind of a few different things. Usually, a scale like this, it could be something from as simple as something that's used for tithing. It could be maybe a measurement for weighing out holy water, things of that nature. It really could be from a number of different things. Since there's no sort of markings on it, it's hard to tell exactly sort of what was being, or who was being worshipped here. So it does seem to be some sort of old local water cult, I guess. So it could be kind of a number of things, I'm for sure. It's worth something. I don't know if that's important to you. It looks like it might still function. It probably needs a little bit of love and attention to sort of retrofit and kind of bring back to its glory. Yeah. Indeed. Well, kind of snaps a claw. There, come here. Yes, my lord. Well, how may I serve you? Take this scale from the woman. See if you can clean it up. See if you can bring it back to its former glory. Might be useful for us in the future. If not, it's a little curio for the lair. Of course, master, of course. My lady. And would you show me the balances, the weights for it? Yeah, I think they're still back in the cabinet here. I can show you where it is. Kind of wander off, and that's our little thing that happens. They have this little introduction. Back and forth. And we finish our short rest, and I think that's a perfect place to kind of call it, because we ended up with that long combat. So I think that's a good place to just, we're going to finish out. I'll do the short rest stuff off screen, so we don't have to deal with you guys just watching me do it, or maybe you do. But I think I'm good where I am right now. I feel like my voice is starting to get a little fry, and so rest on that. And then we'll come back, and I think we'll be finishing our rest next time. And we'll be jumping in kind of straightforward into going back into and finding what's truly at the center this time. We're going to know for certain what's at the center of the Chaos Miasma. And what that is, who knows? I certainly don't know. So I guess we'll find that out next time. That's our plan. But hey, you know, thanks for hanging out with me, guys. This is always a lot of fun. Did not foresee us being completely sidetracked by what I thought was going to be just a side thing. But we did get our main goal accomplished, which is that we have sort of located and found our way to be able to accurately sort of pinpoint the center of the miasma. We don't know what's there, but we know where it is, and we know how to get there, which is the important part. So that's what we'll do next time. Hopefully we'll be prepared if there's a fight. If we're not at full strength, so hopefully, I mean, it's going to be whatever it's going to be. But that's our plans for next time. Until then, you know, you guys have a good time. We've got some other videos up on the channel, so if you want to get caught up on the solo RPG, if this is your first time watching, you might be confused about what's going on. Good thing there's a whole bunch of episodes you can watch before that to figure out who all these people are and what we're doing here. and that's great. Otherwise, we're going to have some videos up in the near future, but we've got other videos and things. If you want some DM, GM, tips and tricks, all that stuff, there's the website, redragonfiend.com. There's the coffee, that's ko-fi.com/redragonfiend. And we've got some stuff over on the Drive-Thru RPG store that you can pick up and pay what you want. If you want to throw us a few dollars, that's fine. If you don't, if you just want to check out the stuff, it's up there too. Every little bit helps, so thank you. All those links, of course, are down in the description and stuff. But that's it for me, and I'll see you guys next time. Alright? Bye-bye.